Super Show.
I am Cy Keller, your host. This is, of course, Edgar.
Edgar.
Lujano.
Thank you.
But in English, we say Edgar Lujano, the assistant to the host.
Assistant host, yeah.
And look who's in here with us. John Sorensen, the...
Chief.
What are we going to do? Are we going to say every other word together?
Yeah, like Red DMC.
The chief.
Hey.
The chief. The chief operating officer of Catholic Answers. Hi, John Sorensen.
Hey.
I didn't know it was flannel panel, guys. Sorry, I didn't wear my flannel.
You know what? I don't need a panel to wear a flannel. I just get up that way, dude.
Yep, I know, because you're a mountain man.
This is correct.
You live out in the mountains. How's mountain life
It's
going?
cold. It's been a little cold. I mean, I got I got a wood burning stove, so I do that every night.
You know, people
Is that why
from
there's so little furniture around here right now? I've been noticing there's hardly any tables.
I want to burn those chairs in your office, dude. I'm going to take those.
Don't say that.
These things are straight out of the 70s, dude.
I have beautiful. I'm gonna bring them in here and share them sometime.
You should actually
They
take
are
a picture of them and show them to the
beautiful
YouTube.
chairs.
Yeah, show them to the YouTube audience and let them vote on it, dude.
You do realize that everybody from Minnesota and Wisconsin are laughing right now, saying, oh, it's cold.
I know,
in Southern
right?
Well,
California.
what is cold? Like, what's it getting down to at night? I mean,
It's not as cold as Minnesota. Not even
no.
close.
Minnesota's not as cold.
California
as Minnesota.
mountains. It's been getting down to this is a weird time of year too. It's it's been getting down into like the high 30s.
High 30s. Yeah.
Yeah, at night.
Yeah. And people should know, why am I asking John the temperature? Because here in California, between where I live at the ocean and where John lives in the mountains, you pass through about 4 different weather zones.
Yeah.
I think probably 4
Yeah.
different.
And my
and they're
house
completely different from one
is
another.
in between both of those zones. So
Yeah.
But do you even know the temperature outside of your house? You're so tired from the baby. Are you?
I think it's about 72 right now.
All right, whatever.
If you're in Southern California, you can never go wrong but saying it's about 72 degrees.
I know. I cannot understand why they pay the weather people so much money here.
I know. It's got to be the easiest job on the planet.
Yeah, they're easy. Okay, so let me ask you this: do you guys want to talk about the thing that I sent you about the Pew research that came out? Did you see the thing that I sent you?
I did.
Yeah.
Or do you want to talk about how many LGBTQ people there are on TV? Because I have statistics on both of these.
I have an opinion because I literally titled and made the thumbnail for the Pew Research Center thing. So we can start with that, and then we can talk about the LGBT
But I have a third
thing.
choice, Philip Rivers, we could talk about. But there's so much good stuff to get into this hour. But
Can I just acknowledge that
Pew-
you're wearing a very bright sweater, and Jeff is also wearing a sweater, even though we can't see him on the camera?
Well, I love the setup. Everything's great, except no Jeff Cam. No, that is not going to do it. There have to be a significant meeting tomorrow.
We're working on it.
Gather the team.
Okay.
We have some problems to work out.
What happened to Jeff Cam, dude?
It's on me right now.
What happened to Jeff Cam?
The Edgar cam right now.
Hey, I'm the chief operating officer, and I can authorize you guys to probably purchase another camera.
Okay. So I can have $5,000 to buy
Well,
another
I mean,
camera?
you got
$5,000 for a Jeff Cam? Oh no!
Are you saying he's not worth it?
He's definitely not worth it. I mean, you don't take any offense at that, do you, Jeff? Like, you are 100% not worth $5,000.
Not for you guys, no.
Jeff.
But so you authorize some money for it. I can go ahead and buy a camera.
Well, I mean, you got to run it past your director first.
And my director's going to run it past you.
But I'm not going to say no. So if you can get it past him, it's not going to like. If it hits my desk, I'll sign off on
All
it.
right. Well, $600 to $1,200.
There you go.
Okay, Pew Research. You guys know about Pew Research. They do research. A lot of it has to do with religion and culture type stuff. They do and so they had a just yesterday or the day before, a big survey came out on religion in America. And I'm always interested in these, and I thought I'd run some statistics by you. And the first thing I thought I'd run by you is just a really like a kind of general statistical breakdown they did for Catholics and for Protestants about what's important to them in their religion. Let's see if you guys notice anything here that sticks out to you. All right, this is the basic question among Catholic U.S. adults who say the following is whatever I say is important reason why they stay Catholic. Okay, it fulfills my spiritual needs. What percentage of Catholics do you think? Oh, I might have sent this to you already. So
I don't remember the numbers. So
54% say it fulfills my spiritual needs extremely or very well. and 30% say it's somewhat, and 15% say not at all. 15% of Catholics are Catholic, but they say that it not at all. It fulfills their spiritual needs.
Let's be honest. The majority of the Catholics that probably answered that question are some that have never actually dug into their Catholic faith, that maybe go to Mass on Sunday
think
or
that's
Easter.
it?
I wouldn't be surprised.
No. All right.
I have to agree with that. What I noticed more was the difference between that statistic and the corresponding Protestant
Yeah.
statistic.
Right. Okay. I'll give you the corresponding. Well, if I may, which category would you put yourselves in? Because I would definitely say it fulfills my spiritual needs somewhat. I am looking forward to it filling my spiritual needs extremely well in the next life. But in this life, I feel like it's barely beginning. Are we even supposed to feel spiritually fulfilled in this life? I'm not saying that to criticize God or anything.
What does the Baltimore Catechism say?
What are you expecting? I'm not expecting. What is the Baltimore?
Do you know the quote? It says we're called to be extremely happy in the next, and something like moderately.
to know, love, and serve God in this life, and to be happy with Him forever in the next.
Yeah. So
Well, that's the first question.
Yeah, it's the
No,
first-
who made me? God is the answer. The first question. Second question, why did He make me?
to be happy in this. It talks about like
To know Him, to love Him, to serve Him in this life, and to be happy with
in the
Him
next.
forever in
Yeah.
the next. So, if you're Catholic and you think that the purpose of your religion is to extremely fulfill your spiritual needs, I feel like what religion are you in?
There's a real self-centeredness almost in the question itself.
Yeah, there is. That's true. Well, yes, right.
You know what I mean? What is my purpose, to be spiritually satisfied or to worship God?
The purpose of religion, according to a lot of what it sounds like, is religion is about me and how it makes me feel happy. I got into a conversation,
But it does make me feel happy. I want to say that. I'm
too.
overjoyed to be Catholic.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm extremely fulfilled spiritually. I'm looking forward to that in the next life.
Right. I think it reminds me of a conversation that I had with some family friends. I was hanging out with my dad and, some of his friends, and they were asking religion, and they said, well, I go to Mass and the sermon is horrible. I don't get anything out of it. I don't feel good after it. And I in my head, I thought, why are you going to Mass? What's the purpose for you to go to Mass? It's to receive Jesus, receive God, especially in the Eucharist. Of course, in the Word, but in the Eucharist, it's like, is your focus on that, or are you just going to try to get a nice message that's going to make you feel good? And I think it stopped them all in their tracks. They didn't have any more questions after that, and they just kind of moved on because they weren't ready to answer that. They weren't prepared for.
We all hate hearing it's not all about you.
Yeah.
Because we're very self-centered creatures. You are, Jeff. Look at you. He's still crying that there's no Jeff Cam over there. He's still sad that there's no Jeff Cam.
I'm sad about that too, but I really do think that this, I don't know if it's a new phenomenon in the Catholic Church. I mean, I was an atheist for most of my life, so I don't really know how long this has been around, but I can tell you that I think a lot of that, I don't remember which of you guys I was talking to this about yesterday, but I think a lot of it has to do with there's a disconnect in what we actually do at Mass. And I'm not a Latin Mass guy. I could care less, right? But when we're talking about the Mass and people going to it, on the one hand, the Church teaches us that it's our participation in that once for all sacrifice that Jesus made on Calvary, right? But I'm sorry, man. So it should be a solemn occasion. The closest thing I can think of is I'm not going to my best friend's funeral with an acoustic guitar and playing Peter, Paul, and Mary songs in front of his grave. You know what I mean?
What about my funeral? Would you do it there? Because I was kind of hoping to book you for my funeral.
Yeah, I probably will. I'm gonna play something obnoxious that you're Lick It Up from Kiss or something.
I see what you're saying, though. Yeah, there is this Jesus says, take up your cross each day and follow me. Does that sound like a prescription to be extremely spiritually, have my spiritual needs fulfilled?
Right.
It does not sound like that.
But these elements that we've introduced into the Mass over, however long it's been, I've never known a world where the Latin Mass was the only thing. I mean, I guess probably it was like that when I was really little.
Yeah.
Probably. Born in 73. Maybe there was a little bit of that left over by then. But
even then there was, the vernacular was everywhere in 73.
Yeah. So I've never known a world where, but I have known a world where I go to Mass and, the things that we, for example, we say to people, all these reasons behind why our worship looks the way it does, right? But then you actually go to a mass and you're like, I don't get it. Like, this seems different than what I was being told. Not everywhere, but well, I mean, just like when you're told that it's like this solemn occasion, it's our participation in this once for all sacrifice on Calvary. But then you get to mass, and there's like, these like singing, like Peter, Paul, and Mary kind of songs that they're playing during the mass, and I even had a pastor one time, and he's passed on now. God rest his soul. He was a good man, but he was a priest in Papua New Guinea, and there, like, everybody's like jumping up and down and like singing and dancing during the mass. And he came to our parish, which was, I guess it was pretty reverent. And it was more of like a solemn occasion. He would actually get irritated that we weren't like jumping with joy. And I'm like, no, I feel a lot of joy that Jesus took on all of this for me and for all of us. But on the other hand, I recognize why I'm here and what this occasion represents. But there's a disconnect, man.
Yeah,
and
right.
I don't think it's just because of Latin Mass or this and that. Some people make that argument. I don't. I don't think it has to be necessarily the traditional Mass, but I do think there's a massive disconnect there. And that's why you end up with numbers like this, because people are more focused on like, what does the Catholic faith do for them, rather than like, what are a more, I don't know, I'm probably butchering this.
Well, what Jesus said, this is all for, is to love God and love your neighbor. Mm-hmm. That's going to be great sometimes. That's going to feel extremely unsatisfying sometimes. There's no guarantees that come with that. Yeah. But if what you're doing is saying, what I'm here for, Jesus, is to be spiritually fulfilled, spiritually fulfill me.
Yeah.
You didn't come for the reason that Jesus said that he came.
Yeah.
Like, he came to get you to love God and love your neighbor.
Yeah.
And you came to say to him, give me spiritual fulfillment.
What's in it for me?
Yeah, that what's in it for me doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Rhaegar Targaryen Prime on YouTube says, what does it even mean to have your spiritual needs filled?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I couldn't define that.
I can define it for you. God. That's what fulfills your spiritual needs. God. You were made for God. You were made to see God face to face, to know God, to possess God, and to be possessed by God. Yeah. You don't get that in this life. You get hints of that. You get encouragements toward that. You get preparation for that. That is not what this life is for. And so the idea that I would be extremely spiritually fulfilled, I mean, maybe what people mean by that is that they have the joy of the faith, or they have the assurance of the faith. Like, I can see all of those things are fulfilling, but it just seems odd. I think somewhat is the only Catholic answer there. Like, I'm somewhat fulfilled. I'm just barely beginning the spiritual life here on earth. I think the not at all people, come on now, people, like, not at all spiritually fulfilled.
Well, I mean, this would go very contrary to what St. John of the Cross would talk about, especially like the dark night of the soul, like desolation, things like that.
Pick the grumpiest saint.
If you would have talked to Mother Teresa, especially those 40 final years of her life.
Do you think that Mother Teresa was going, I feel completely spiritually fulfilled by this?
This is fantastic. She's picking out maggots out of an open wound. It's like, it's not very fulfilling, very, spiritually fulfilling.
All right. The number one answer for Protestants say their belief in their religion's teaching is extremely important, fill in the blank. Their number one answer is, I believe in the religion's teachings. 71% of them say that. 21% say that they somewhat believe in the religious teachings. 8% say not at all, which I think is awesome. You're going to church like, I don't believe any of this stuff. I don't believe any of this, but I'm going. Okay, good for you. I don't know what that's about.
I can tell. I think I have an anecdote that might help with that.
Okay.
So I have a family member who is vegan and goes to went for a long time to Seventh-day Adventist churches because they were vegan too. And I asked this family member one time, I said, hey, what's up with that? Do you believe in the Seventh-day Adventists, like what they teach, especially the whole Saturday, Sunday thing? And he was like, oh, absolutely not. But they're vegans, and I have a lot in common with them in that regard.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I wonder how many like people are like, yeah, I agree with these people on a lot of things enough that I could go there, but not enough
Yeah.
to make me like,
Yeah.
be a card carrying member.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what makes up that group.
Okay, so the Protestants, their number 2 reason for staying in their faith is it fulfills my spiritual needs. 66% say they are extremely fulfilled spiritually in their church. 23% say somewhat, and 11% say not at all. Now, the second reason for Catholics is I believe in my I believe in the religion's teachings. So Catholics and Protestants flip these two, but Catholics are just so non-committal. Like, what percent of Catholics say they believe extremely or very much in the religion's teachings?
I'm looking at the numbers here. I can't give you
53%. Just over half really believe in the Catholic faith. 33% somewhat, and 13% not at all. So, like, more than 1 in 10 of those people in Mass with you on Sunday, they don't believe any of this. That I'm very impressed with those people. I do not understand them, but I'm very impressed with them.
I don't get it because
Yeah.
I'm like, why do anything unless there's like some purpose? Like I'm not gonna adhere to any ideology or whatever unless I actually believed that it was true. Otherwise, like I got other things to do on Sunday.
Why wake up early in the morning to go to mass? Why skip out on your football game or something
Exactly.
if you don't believe any of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could not get myself to Mass if I didn't believe it. There's no way.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I like Mass. I'm not unhappy at Mass, but no way that I would get myself to Mass if I didn't believe it.
Yeah, but there's I mean, like let's say we pull out that what's the number? The not at all.
13%.
What if we pulled those 13% out and said, how often do you go to Mass?
Oh, maybe. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that number's pretty low.
That's true. It gives my life meaning is next for Catholics. It gives my life meaning is next for Protestants. Let's keep going. I like the traditions. That's next for Catholics at 46%. Extremely like the traditions, and but here this is where it switches. Where Protestants it starts to change now. After the top 3, I like the sense of community. That's what Protestants like, the sense of community. For Catholics, I like the sense of community is farther down.
You know why?
Because there ain't no sense of community.
Yeah.
You walk out of that church and everybody's like halfway out the parking lot. There's no community. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
It's I don't actually think that it's true to say there's no community. In
That's
some
an extreme.
parishes, some parishes it's wonderful. In some parishes it's minimal. There's always something of it.
Fair.
though.
That's fair.
But there are parishes where it's very impressive. One of the things that I really liked about my job over the last 9 years is I've gotten to be in a lot of Catholic parishes all around a whole bunch of different places. And there are some really impressive things in some parishes. It's wonderful to see some of the community spirit. But yeah, we're not as community minded. And I will be honest, what I think part of the reason for that is, as a Catholic, I have an obligation to go to the Catholic Church to receive, or not to receive communion, but to go to Mass. That's my obligation. And it doesn't matter to me who else is there. I meet that obligation. For a Protestant, they're not going to a particular church because they have an obligation to. They're going to the church they chose to go to with the people they chose to go with. So I just think it's two different approaches to why we're there. Mm-hmm. If you get I bet if you I know this as a matter of fact, if you go to a Latin Mass community where all they do is the Latin Mass, it's a Latin Mass Catholic community. I'm not talking about people who are outside the church, but inside the church. You're going to get an unbelievable sense of community. Why? Because those people all chose to be there with each other. The Catholic Church is not like these Protestant churches. It's just not. It's not the same animal. And I think sometimes we play up the strengths of the Protestant churches as if they're doing something right. Actually, sometimes you get really great results by doing things wrong. You know, like you can go to a party where everybody's taking ecstasy, and you'll objectively you'll go, "This looks like a great party." It's not a great party. And so this thing about going into your own private little community with a bunch of people who think exactly like you do, that's actually not Christianity. That's not what it's supposed to look like.
I've always found it fascinating on these Facebook groups, different cities and stuff like that. So I'm part of my local city community Facebook page. And people constantly ask her, "Hey, I'm looking to go. I want to go to church. Which one has a great community?" And that is like the primary criteria. Not what do they teach, what are the main tenets of the faith. None of that. It's do they have a good community? That to them is the most important thing on asking in these Facebook groups.
What I understand it because we have a lack of community. I mean, I feel it. There's a lack of community in our society.
I got a whole different experience where I live.
Where?
Well, I mean,
You live in a small town, though.
I live in a very small town. There's only 2,000 people there. I mean, it's mostly ranches, and everything's really spread out and everything. And and our Catholic church there is actually smaller than our chapel here. I joke.
Is it really?
Yeah, I tell people that all the time. I'm like, actually, actually, it's about the same size. Our chapel here is about the same size as my actual parish that I go to on Sunday. But I will tell you, like, when Amy and I first moved out there, you know, we were going to church like we did here. Like we would go to the mission, you know, and after church we'd just leave. And I never met anybody I went there for 2 years to the mission here. I never met anybody there that I didn't already know from like doing this job, right? Never met anybody new there or nothing the whole time. There was never any sense of community. Part of that was on us. I think some of it's on the pastor, and then some of it is just that the community, the people that go there, so many of them, like, how do I, you know, like, where do you
fit in this?
Where do you fit in? When we'd been going to this rural parish, and for like the first 3 weeks that we were there, you know, we would just like split after mass. We'd out the door in the truck, and Amy and I were going off to get lunch or something. And there was by the third week, this little old lady, her name's Harriet, like chased us out in the parking lot, and she's like, "You guys need to come down and have coffee and donuts with us because we want to know who you are. You've been there." You know, they recognize that, like, oh, they've been here 3 times in a row. They probably live around here now. So, you know, and I, you know, and one thing I have found over the years is that Father Dave Leon, who says mass for us sometimes, well, he's moved now to Alabama, but he was a great pastor who really facilitated. You know, he did like movie night, and he did everything he could to try and bring people together.
Right.
You know, so you had the pastor who was supportive of that, and you had a smaller group of people, and that helped a lot. And so there is really good community there. The trick would be like in these giant churches where there's so many people. It's like, how do you start getting people together? Like, what kinds of things can you do? Community could be fostered. It's just not. We don't do it like mass isn't the time for community building, you know?
No, that's right. And we don't, I mean, I don't think the Catholic Church has figured out how to exist in the suburbs. We were formed as an urban, you know, Christianity is an urban phenomenon in the beginning, and then moves out into the farmland, or not even into the farm, into the wild, really, you know. And so you have these two sides of the medieval church. You have country church and you have urban church. They're two different ways of doing church. But suburbia is a new invention, and the automobile changed the way people live there. I don't think the Catholic Church has figured out how to be a suburban church.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 100 years into it, and we still don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
We just have not figured out if everyone's living in a tract home, how does the Catholic Church be a Catholic Church there? So you drive up, you go to mass because that's your obligation, and you drive somewhere else. Mm-hmm. You don't walk to church with anyone. You don't hang around after because it's just not convenient. The convenient thing is you're not in the city, or you're not way out in the country.
Yeah.
You're neither. And I don't think we know how to be a suburban church. I just don't think that anyone's figured it out yet.
Can I read some of the comments, because there's a good conversation about this online.
Wait, they're on YouTube. They're
on
talking
YouTube.
about what we're actually talking about on the show?
Yeah. So,
way to go, YouTube. Good job.
So Rhaegar says there's a need to belong amongst humans, and it is very strong. Mm-hmm. Trucker Dude says Life Church has good coffee, donuts, and a heck of a concert.
Yeah, right.
So there's a couple more here that I want to read. Pino with Pio says it's the only thing I miss about being Protestant is the community side of it. And Rhaegar also says, I lost my place here. Our parish has a fellowship coffee and donuts event in the basement every Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's things like that are necessary.
That's what we have at my.
Yeah, you got to do right. I
Yeah.
do. But you can't really, like Thomas Aquinas tells us, grace builds on nature. We're trying to have supernatural community without even having natural community. And so, but I say that also not letting go of my point that you have to invent a new kind of community for the suburbs for the church to be. And I don't think I like that idea of having a movie night because just get everybody together in a way that's not particularly churchy, say the Our Father at the beginning, say a Hail Mary at the end, give it its Catholic identity, but let it be natural community where people can get to know one another.
Oh, dude, we do so many things. Like last year, they invited us for the first time to
Posadas?
Yeah, dude, it's so rad.
Yeah.
So awesome. What a great tradition. And like everybody, they do like this singing back and forth thing, and then everybody comes together, prays the rosary. Then you have the best Mexican food on the planet.
It's a
dude.
novena, so it's kind of like the 9 days of Mary and Joseph finding their way to Bethlehem and finding a place to stay. So it's usually like played out with little kids, and there's candy, there's hot chocolate and pan dulce and all this stuff. It's great. One thing that when I was 18, I was signed up to the Knights of Columbus, and what I appreciated about that chapter was that my mentor, he said, it's all great to do pancake breakfast and crab dinners and all that stuff. So, but what we actually need to build a community of men in this parish. So what he proposed and they started doing, they started up a airsoft team. So everybody started buying airsoft guns. I'm talking about like all the middle-aged men. They brought their sons, and it was a great way for men to come together and just have fun, shoot each other.
Yeah.
And they would do like chili cook-offs and stuff like that. So it wasn't strictly, hey, we're fundraising for the church, though they did those things, but they were doing things to actually build the community up. And a lot of those kids, I remember, they were considering the priesthood because they actually had a community. They realized that there's a sense of normalcy in being a part of a church community, and being faithful and praying can be something that you do on an everyday basis and be a normal human being.
When I was a kid, every parish in the North County where I grew up had the parish, what they call it, festival, not a carnival. I think they called it the parish festival, but they would have rides there. They would have, we always used to do a thing called cakewalk. Have any of you ever done cakewalk?
Mm-hmm.
Cakewalk? You've done cakewalk? Have you ever done?
Cakewalk or kegwalk?
Cakewalk.
Oh, sorry.
I've done keg walk.
Well, it's just you and me. These two went to a different parish than I did. Games, all kinds of stuff, and everybody would come out, and it would go over the course of a whole weekend. And do you know why a lot of parishes stopped having a parish festival with the rides and with the fun and all that stuff? Insurance. The insurance got somebody get hurt and they get sued, and so you know how insurance works in dioceses is there's an insurance provider for the diocese who tells you don't do this. We're not insuring you so it's not a matter of no, they're telling you you're not insured if you do this, so they won't do it.
Yeah.
So it's the church trying to find a way to function in this modern suburban environment where in the old days, you just had the parish festival. It was crazy. A lot of crazy stuff happened there. But they used to do this thing where, it was so good. They would give you a little cup with Fritos in it, and then they put chili and onions on top of it. To this day, I remember just the feeling of it's time for the chili and the.
That actually sounds really good.
It was great. It was so
super not good for you, but yeah.
Oh yeah, nowadays it would be like, oh come on kids, come and get your oat cookies with no sugar.
Yeah.
Or your carrots with hummus.
That's just oats. Yeah, I realize that's just oats. Shut up, kid. So I just want to get to one more, or maybe two more. It's the same religion as my family. Do you think who scored higher on that? Protestants or I am in the religion I am in because it's the same religion as my family. Who scored higher on that? Protestants or Catholics?
Catholics.
Yeah, it's got to be Catholics.
Catholics came in at same religion as my family, 43%, said extremely or very much. 34% said somewhat. So 77% on that one for Catholics. For Protestants, it's the same religion as my family, 29% and 28%. So less than 60. So much lower, 42%. Well, yeah, so it's 58%. 42% said not at all. Is this the same religion as my family? So again, we used to call it church shopping in the Catholic Church. You go find a priest that you like, and it was extremely frowned upon. It's not anymore. It's actually the church doesn't say anything about that anymore. But I still believe in the geographic parish. I think God put you in a place. Go to mass with those people. Like and there's been so many times in the 20, I guess almost 30 years that my wife and I have been in the same parish that, pastors are not all the same. So it goes up and down over that 30 years. When it was down, you would see the parish would be less full, and all these, they don't care about us anymore. They don't they're not, like whatever you want to say. You just left your community because you wanted to find greener pastures somewhere. Yeah. So I believe in the geographic parish. I think it's a good thing to just go with the people in your town that you live with. Go to mass with them. And
I would disagree with that, especially if you're living in a city.
No, but I'm right.
Fine. Okay. You can think whatever you want. It's fine. Especially if you're living in a city where there's parishes literally one's 5 minutes away, the other one's 10 minutes away.
That may be true. Yeah.
Then at that point, if somebody's preaching or doing things that are not done correctly by the church and the community there is starting to fall in that direction, I don't want to be a part of that community, especially if I have kids.
Why they need you?
But if I have kids, it's going to scandalize them too. Yeah, but if I have a little 6-month-old, if I start bringing him around as he's getting older, he's very impressionable, and I'm going to take him to a church where I say this is a safe place for you to learn and trust in God, and then he starts seeing some weird stuff. I'm not going to take him there. I'm going to drive an extra 5 minutes.
You know how we used to
parish.
handle that in the 70s? We'd go to the kid. It's kind of weird at the parish. Pay no attention. Yes.
How did that work out for retention?
We didn't have car seats either. That's a good point. That's a very good point. All right. I think that's but you should check out the Pew stuff on this. It's very interesting. There's so much there that we'll do more of this. I'm sure we'll come back and do more of this. But I don't know if you two know this, but are you familiar with GLAAD?
Don't get mad, get glad.
Yes, exactly.
The trash bag company is what you're talking about?
Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against
Okay.
Discrimination. I think that's what GLAAD stands for. They've been around forever.
Yeah. I was thinking of Glow, the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Remember that? Like from the 80s? No?
I do.
Yeah.
Dude, I was born in '89. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what GLAAD does a survey, which I actually think they're very right to do this survey. And it's called Where Are We on TV? And they do it every year. They've done it for 20 years, every year. Where are we on TV? So how many gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, LGBT people, so they break it down by all these categories. And how many of them are on TV? So first of all, I'm going to just start with a raw number for you. I'm going to quiz you on this. That what they do is they look at every single major character or not major character, recurring character on television in a scripted TV show. So not like reality shows, not news, but in a scripted TV show across cable. What's like Netflix called? That's not cable, but streaming, broadcast. Okay, so they look at all of it and they go, they just want a raw number. How many of those scripted characters are LGBTQ? And I want you guys to just, with no other context, I want you to see if you can come up with a number. What do you think the number, just the raw number in 2025, how many recurring characters in scripted TV shows? You can play along, Jeff, if you want. Darren, you can play if you want.
These days, I say 90%.
No, not a percentage, just a raw number. How many of you think 90%?
150,000.
Jeez.
Everybody except for
trying
like
to
10.
ruin my bit.
Everybody except for like 10 characters.
And all those are bad people.
Yeah.
They're all murderers, the ones that are not.
Yeah.
Pino agreed with you. You said 90%.
Give me a raw
A
number.
raw number?
How many LGBTQ? I'm not talking about a one-time appearance. I'm talking about recurring characters on TV of any kind.
I'd say about
scripted TV.
But I'd say about 120 characters.
120. What do you got, Jeff? What do you think?
I was going with 40%, but I don't the numbers. I just don't. How many? What is?
How many are there in the
I
first
guess,
place?
Let's say 210.
210. Darren, you got a number? What is Darren? Tell me Darren's number. Whatever.
490.
He says 490.
Does my face look shocked right now? It's 489.
Whoa. Oh, is this a $1 Bob situation?
Yeah, come on down, Darren. Come on out, Darren. That's freakish, man. All right, so now this is why I think
Taking Darren with me to the casino, by the way.
I know. This is why I think that they're smart. So I asked ChatGPT, okay, it's 489 LGBTQ characters on scripted television in the United States. How many Christian characters openly Christian characters are there? And guess what ChatGPT said?
There's got to be I'm going with
Just Pope Francis.
10. I'm going to go with 10.
ChatGPT told me, you're not even guessing. You're like, I said 150,000 gay people.
Yeah.
I have no more guesses.
There's 0 Christians on TV.
ChatGPT told me no one keeps that statistic.
No way.
Guess what? Guess who should be keeping that statistic? Us. We are blowing it. Here's GLAAD.
Whoa.
They've got an agenda. What's their agenda? They want to see their community represented positively, and they do data, and we don't do data. We have no data on this. So it's time to get a grant. Can you get one of our donors to pony up? I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the work. I just would need a donor to, I don't know, $500,000 a year. I can get this done. All right. So
Lisby.
he could not be less interested in getting me
No,
funding
because
for
I hate television. And so, if I could get that money, I would spend it on trying to convince Christians to turn that
TV off.
I was going to use a bad word.
Lisby
turn it off.
says ChatGPT lies. Lisby, if you have a number,
Give us the number.
Give
I want
us
to
the
know.
number. Yeah. If you know where we can find it, let us know. If
right.
not, we're going to get somebody to pony up the money for Cy to do the work.
All right, I'm going to give you some numbers of LGBTQ people on TV since 2014. In 2014, it was 3.9%. I'm not going to give you raw numbers. I'm going to give you percentages now. 2014, it was 3.9%. 2015, 4%. 2016, 4.8%. 2017, 6.4%. 2018, 8.8%. 2019, 10.2%. 2020, 9.1%. 2021, 11. Do you see the trend here? 11.9%. 2022, 10.6%. 2023, bad year. 8.6%, and this year, 9.3%. So we have gone from in 2014, 3.9, and 2015, 4% to now we've settled in around 10% the last few years. So their advocacy clearly worked. They have numbers. They can clearly show those numbers to people at the networks, and they're getting results. So I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think we need to start keeping track of how many Christian characters, and then we got to keep track of whether they're the good guys or the bad guys, because there's often a Christian minister. As a matter of fact, I think every Netflix show is required to have a Christian minister who murders somebody by the end of the show. So I think that's an actual Netflix requirement. So
Yeah, the last time I watched a TV show, it was like one of those Yellowstone spin-offs. And of course it was like, this school where they ripped the Native American girl from her family, and the nuns are beating the tar out of her, and then the bishop comes and beats the tar out of the nuns.
Oh yes, that seems like a realistic.
No, not because he's mad at them for beating the native girl, but just because he has a thing about he likes to beat nuns or something. I don't know.
It's the wrath,
What
right?
show was this?
It was like one of those Yellowstone spin-offs, 18, 19,
Oh,
whatever.
my
I don't
gosh.
know. But it was.
It's either that or they're the prudes that everybody hates. Even my favorite show, The Office. There's Angela, who's
a jerk.
the religious hypocrite,
Yeah.
and is a jerk to everyone.
Right.
Nobody likes her.
Let me tell you something, Hollywood. There are hundreds of millions of Christians in this country. Most of them are really nice people. The fact that you don't know it, it's our fault. It's our fault. We haven't been keeping track like GLAD has. And so we need to start doing this. I need a grant. Could somebody get me a grant to do this? I need $500,000 a year. All right, let's go now to which is the gayest network. You ready to play?
No.
Because they break it down by network. You ready to play?
I'm ready.
Do you guys want to play?
Let's do it.
All right. ABC, Fox, CBS. Okay, you know what? You're going to have to keep your answers to yourself. All of you, keep your answers to yourself. I want you to think which is the gayest and which is the least gay. Now, by gayest and least gay, I just mean has the highest percentage of LGBTQ characters. And so ABC, Fox, CBS, the CW. First of all, I was shocked to find out that there's still a thing called the CW. Like, does that really exist? I have not been watching TV. The CW is still a thing?
Still a thing. They just ended their DC comic
Oh,
spin-offs.
the Arrowverse or
The
something?
Arrowverse, yeah.
ABC, Fox, CBS, the CW, NBC. Gayest and least gay. Ready, go. Gayest and least gay. Don't stop looking. Don't know.
Fox is the gayest, and least gay is CW.
Okay. Remember how I said keep it to yourself?
You don't follow rules, man. Come on.
No, actually, I think John's way is better. John says, okay, I'm going to put G and G minus. So you say Fox is the most G.
Yeah.
And you say the CW is G minus.
Yeah.
Play along at home if you'd like. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with ABC as the gayest.
ABC is the G.
The G, and CBS as being the.
CBS is the
least.
least gay. All right. What do you got in there?
I'm going to reverse Edgar's with CBS as most and ABC as the least.
Are you guys basing this on anything, or is this
No,
just pure
vibes.
guessing?
Well, for me, it's fine.
Darren, you want to play or don't want to play? You, if you get this right,
I'm definitely taking you to the casino.
Company trip or what?
yeah, like
Most characters, I'll go ABC.
ABC is the gayest
Yep.
and least.
Least Fox.
Fox is the least gay. Okay.
Can
I
I
also
just?
haven't seen network TV in about 10 years.
Yeah.
So, wait, isn't ABC also a part of Disney, just like Fox?
Yeah, ABC's part of Disney.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot to write down everybody's names.
I'm first.
I forgot.
John, me.
Wait. You're Edgar.
Yes, I
okay.
am.
That's that guy there is Jeff, and then that is Darren. Okay. Let's see who got gayest correct at 12.9%. 12.9% of their characters are LGBTQ. That is ABC, and
Boom.
that would be Darren and Edgar.
All right, I shouldn't be
Got
celebrating that. All right.
Why? It's okay to know things. All right, and the least gayest at 7.4%. The least LGBTQ characters on television. That would be NBC. None of you got it.
Ooh.
Zero of you. I never would have guessed that it was NBC. NBC. But maybe they have Christian characters. Let's find out. Maybe they
Hey,
have.
you know who got it right? Rhaegar.
Rhaegar got it right?
got it right. ABC most, NBC the least.
Good for you, Rhaegar. Everybody else is. Fox is second with 10.2, but so basically 13% of ABC's characters are LGBTQ. How many of them are identifiable as Christians? We don't know, but we need to begin to be a pressure group in this
Can
regard.
I say something just real quick about that? Like living in this great melting pot or whatever it is that we live in, the great experiment. Or I expect there on our television sets to be characters of different persuasions. It's not that bugs me. It's the message that they're constantly slamming in our faces that bugs me. And this is the reason I stay away from it. I could care less like how many characters, or I couldn't care less how many characters are, this or that or whatever. People who think differently than me, or they live a lifestyle that I can't. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm a little torn on that. Like, yeah, we could sit there and push for it, but television's just garbage anyway.
It is garbage, but it's highly consumed garbage.
Can we petition the Catholic League to get these numbers for us? Because aren't they involved in all that?
The Catholic League is so grumpy with everybody, though. I mean,
Can you blame them?
No, but
Look who they're dealing with. Come on.
like GLAAD chose the name GLAAD. They're just like they're trying to be positive. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from them. You're supposed to advocate for what you believe in. That's the American way. They give you solid numbers so you can look and see who is meeting what they. We don't do that. We don't do any of that. So we've abandoned the field, so to speak. So I'm sympathetic to what you're saying. I think the hard thing to do it though is to have data on the message, because it's not a data. There's no reportable data there. How do you? How do you say what the message of a TV show is?
Yeah.
If
I think it's pretty safe to say that Yellowstone spinoff was an anti-Catholic.
yeah, I guess so. That's probably true.
I mean, like blatantly anti-Catholic.
Yep. I think we would need a lot of help from this, but we should have some kind of award for the most anti-Catholic hour of television or something for the year, or the most anti-Catholic episode, and then just have people submit them, and we'll watch them, and then we'll pick who's the. What do you think? Ask the internet what they think. Ask YouTube what they think. If we were to have an award, because if you gave that award out, at least it would be in their mind. Don't make this list.
That's a good point.
Don't get. I don't want to get. Even though we would just be making fun of it, and we would be having a good time with it. People in Hollywood don't want you to be calling them bigots. They want to be bigots. They don't want to be called bigots. So. I like that's just tremendous. Like I remember.
So can we offer an award to them and kind of jokingly and actually send it to their offices saying the Catholic Answers Award for least anti-Christian Catholic,
for the most anti-Christian episode of 2025? Yeah, I think we should do an award like that. We could get press for it. Like people would report on that. You would get reportage. Reporters would want to know.
And then the award for the highest anti-Catholicism, and you can do the scene of what's the movie about? Is it Thomas? The excommunication scene where he dropped. You know what I'm talking about? Becket, yes.
Oh.
Where Thomas Becket and he's like excommunicates as the king.
Henry II.
Henry II. So we could just do a little statue with him like excommunicating the
See,
group.
now you're getting on board, Edgar. It's like the Oscar, but it'll be Beckett. Yeah, right.
Condemning him.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I'm good with this.
Are you okay if we do this?
Yeah.
What YouTube say? Okay, I'm going to write this down.
The YouTubes, what do you guys think? Tell me.
Yeah,
Tell me in the
because
chat.
we need a anti-Catholic or anti. I'd be willing to go all the way anti-Christian. Like,
Okay.
I don't think we need to keep it in the ghetto. Let's just go all by ghetto. I mean, closed neighborhood of Catholics, but let's open it up. The most anti-Christian episode of the year, and we constantly ask for submissions, and then once we get the submissions, we don't have to watch all the TV that happens. What you don't?
I just don't want to watch it. Which sewage is the worst sewage?
Yeah.
We sampled 5 sewers across the country for
Dude,
the
can
worst.
I tell you, it's a quick story.
Yeah.
Many years ago, Jimmy was working on a book about Jack Chick tracks.
Oh, yes.
And he needed the actual tracks, and we didn't want to have it be a Catholic Answers address to have them. So I used my home address, and they were sending them to my house, and my wife would pick up the mail, and she's like, "You need to stop this stuff." Like after like a month of it, I just keep getting the stuff coming in, and she's like flipping through them. She's like, "What is this? This is garbage." I'm kind of with you. I'm like, I want to give out the award, but I don't want to watch the stuff. Well, that would be difficult.
I'm coming up with award ideas, and then there's the St. Nicholas Award, and it's literally just a hand for slapping areas. And it's literally just a hand of St. Nicholas.
Award. Yes, you won the St. Nicholas. Sounds like a good thing. Yeah. You won the St. Nicholas Award for for 2025. You are the St. Nicholas Award recipient. Yeah. Come to the banquet, and then we can have a banquet, and we just have fun when they don't show up. And if they do show up, we'll really have fun.
Golden face palm.
But then we need the most pro-Christian episode too, though, don't you think? We need people to tell us both the anti-Christian episode, because I don't want to say show because I don't want to have to watch a whole season of anything. I want you to tell me some half hour.
But we won't have to, because Catholics online tend to praised those episodes. Like, hey, this is actually pretty good,
Yeah.
or it's pretty bad. We were having a conversation this morning about the new Knives Out movie. Some people are saying it was really good. Other people, I'm not going to mention names, are saying it was a
Jeff?
horrible movie.
Oh.
I'm not going to mention names, but
Jeff?
No,
President's
I haven't
gonna-
seen it yet.
Oh.
So it's apparently it takes place. The main character is a Catholic priest. I'm curious to know, is this a good Catholic priest or is this a bad Catholic priest? You know,
So the main character in the we like. Wait,
so
right.
the Catholic
Is it on
world's
Netflix?
it's on Netflix.
It's a bad Catholic priest. I already know. like, what are you talking about? They're not gonna have a good Catholic priest on Netflix.
I'm gonna watch it actually tomorrow night. I'll watch it tomorrow night, and we should discuss it maybe after
It's
Christmas.
a movie, not a series, right?
It's a movie, yeah.
Did you guys ever see a movie called The American with George Clooney, where he's an assassin who's building a rifle in an Italian town? That movie has an Italian actor playing a priest, and I fell in love with this depiction of a priest. Like, this is how you should depict a priest. Not should. You can do it any way you want. There are good priests, there are bad priests. If you need a bad priest for your movie, okay, I get it. But the fact that 93% of the priests on YouTube are horrible people, that maybe shows a bias. But I loved this priest in this George Clooney movie because George Clooney is going to hell. This is part of what you're seeing in the character. He is a killer. He's a man who has made a lot of money killing other people, making guns especially made guns for assassins. And now he has a special order for this gun that's going to be used in an assassination. And he'll go out. The Clooney character is in this little Italian town doing it because he's hiding from people that want to kill him. And he meets this priest, and the priest can see in the conversation with Clooney, this guy is going to hell. And so he's enjoying the conversation. He's a delightful priest, but he's doing the work of a priest every time he talks to Clooney. Every time he talks to Clooney's character, he's working hard as a priest to draw this. He doesn't know what's wrong. He doesn't know why this guy is here in this town. He's just this wonderful Italian, really, Italian priest. They're tough. They're manly priests, but gentle. But what you see in the movie is every time the priest has his encounters with George Clooney in the park, usually they meet at, if I remember the movie right, the priest is trying to have a conversation, like how can I save this man from hell? Because it's clear the priest has enough spiritual knowledge to know this man is spiritually dead. I need to help him. I thought that was a wonderful depiction of a priest. And it was great. It was artistic. It was a artful presentation. And you don't expect that in a George Clooney movie, but I don't know if you expect anything in a George Clooney movie. He probably makes all kinds of different movies, but it does seem to me that, look, if you think that the only way to depict religious people is as Angela the bigot, who's completely fake, you're just not a good artist. You haven't thought this through. Like, this was so beautiful, this depiction of this priest doing spiritual warfare every time he speaks, and it was very subtle. Like, it wasn't like prayers and exorcisms and all that. It was the actual work that priests do.
Yeah.
I thought it was beautiful. It's called The American, the movie.
I'll have to check that out.
I don't remember if it was a good movie or not. I really honestly don't remember that. I liked George Clooney in it, but he's always good. I think he does a great job. But I remember being struck by this Italian actor who played this priest, like, oh, he knows what a priest is. Like, this is not a caricature of a priest. This priest doesn't know, he's in the dark, and he's doing the best he can to save a soul. I thought it was beautiful.
Cool.
I can't.
I don't even remember why I started talking about that.
I can't remember the last time I saw
Good Christian depictions.
Oh yeah.
or like a Catholic priest being depicted as something other than like. I'm thinking like the last time I saw a Catholic priest depicted in anything would have been like The Sopranos, which I probably shouldn't admit to watching, but that was a long time ago.
Were the priests good or bad in The Sopranos?
Oh, he's terrible.
Oh, he is?
It's like the first season or two of the show, and the priest is just like trying to manipulate the mafia boss's wife because he likes food and good wine and stuff, and and he's really into movies, and they've got a good like movie home theater system, and for the time.
So he wants to get
anyway.
invited to eat and drink and watch movies.
Yeah, and he kind of like plays up like he kind of plays up like sexual tension,
With the wife?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he
does
starts,
sound
and
like
then he gets bored with that wife, and he starts moving on to another wife, and the wife recognizes that, and that's the portrayal of the Catholic priest in the show. And it's like, I'm not saying that there could be people like that out there. I'm not saying that every Catholic priest is 100%. I mean, obviously we know that for sure, but
right.
But it's like how they're looking out for like how are we portrayed in film and television? It's advocacy and pushing for it to the point where like it's not even representative of actual society.
It
like,
has nothing to do with reality.
Right.
It's just an unreal, just rooted in bigotry.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great movie, an old movie called The Bishop's Wife. I think Denzel Washington remade it, but David Niven plays the bishop in it. And I love that depiction of a priest because, well, it's an Anglican priest. He's married. So he's trying to do a good thing. He's trying to build a cathedral. And he's working really hard to build the cathedral. But you know what? The dramatic tension of the movie is God doesn't want him to build the cathedral. God wants him to take care of the poor. And it's not like he's choosing between a bad thing and a good thing. He's choosing between a good thing that he's wasting his life on and the thing that God wants him to do. I think that's a great depiction of a realistic, priests probably get confused and go the wrong way and have the wrong priorities sometimes.
Yeah.
They don't have to be just like saints all the time.
Yeah.
But the drama, I think, should be related to the actual dramas that happen in life, not these fake. I watched a great show about a priest on Netflix. Unfortunately, the priest was a vampire. I don't know if you
Well, it is Netflix, so.
I don't know about that.
What, Father Jones Vampire Slayer or something?
I can't remember.
What show is this? I want
I
to
think
watch
it's
it now.
I think it's a lost version of Chesterton's Father Brown, and he just Father Brown Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
The Revenge of the Sith or something. I don't know, some wild thing like that.
No, he was an actual vampire. He was a vampire priest, yeah. And it was they were trying to do something with like the blood that gives life and all this, the sacrament, and it got so confused. And
I remember years ago somebody sent us like a graphic novel with really great art in it, by the way, but it was like this, the whole graphic novel was about this like Pope's assassin or something. I think it was around the time of like Da Vinci Code.
I was going to say the Da
You have
Vinci
to ask
Code.
Todd about it. He might remember, but they sent. We're all looking at it, we're like, the art is awesome, but like, why would somebody think we would want to publish that?
People should know. I'm sorry, Edgar, to interrupt you, but this is really something people should know. We are not allowed to talk about the Pope's assassins. All right,
Hush, hush.
We don't talk about the black helicopters. We don't talk about the assassins.
Yeah.
Look, it's already public knowledge. They're already separating, dividing up Opus Dei, so we're good. All right.
Yeah.
No, there is a good depiction of a priest. He's reoccurred a couple of times, but the show Daredevil on Disney.
Oh yeah.
The priest
Daredevil's
there,
a Catholic.
Yeah, he's a Catholic, and the priest there, he's trying to like guide him, like, what are you doing? I think he's like a chain smoking priest, but he's kind of gritty, but he knows what to do, and he's an actually good Catholic priest.
Yeah. And if I remember that right, Daredevil wants to confess before he commits a sin, and the priest is like, no.
Doesn't work that way, dude.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't comforting him or anything in his sin. He was like, no, you just don't do the sin.
Yep.
Like, don't come to me and...
I forgot about that one. That actually was a pretty decent portrayal of a Catholic
but
priest.
that was when it was on Netflix. Netflix did that show, and then before it was moved over to Disney.
Oh, that was a Netflix show.
That was.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I apologize, Netflix. You're a beautiful network, and I, or whatever you are, and I besmirched your name. All right, that's enough.
2 minutes.
Time to do the show.
All right.
Thanks for having me on again,
Thank you
guys.
for coming in.
I love talking to you guys.
It's great to get. We're lucky we get to have you in here because you approved a $5,000 camera in the course of the show, and you're going to raise $500,000.
Reasonable, man. Come
It's all
on.
on camera.
Yeah.
All right.
Jeff's in there posing for his new camera.
With that, we're gonna go to the pre-roll footage in a second. Before that, my friends over on YouTube, make sure you like this video. There's gonna be more of the Super Show, especially in the coming years. So make sure you guys share this. like it, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Help us support this because, as you know, Catholic Answers, we do all the apologetic stuff. But if you guys want to see more of this stuff, support us. So hit the like. Big Stack, thank you for recommending this. And we'll see you guys in the next hour with Dr. Carlo Broussard. It's going to be a fun opener question talking about Kirk Cameron and his understanding of annihilationism, if I can say that fast. All right, Bender, cut it to the pre-show.